In a world in crisis, can three idiots find hope in the darkest of places? Will love conquer all, or will hate win out in the end? This is a show called Hate.
Hello and welcome to A Show Called Hate, a podcast in which we explore love, hate and everything in between in search of greater meaning and perhaps a little perspective. I'm John.
I'm Nick.
Chris is my name.
That is a true statement.
Yeah,
Powerful
thank you.
I'm glad.
That was good,
I'm
wasn't
glad
it?
we captured that
Lovely.
on the microphone.
Get that out there on the airwaves.
I'm going to make that as my ringtone.
On the internet waves.
Chris is my name.
I'm going to keep
Chris
that
is
in
my
the
name.
Final edit, but yes. Anyway, ignoring that randomness. Hello and welcome to A Show Called Hate. If you're not familiar with the format by now, where have you been? Get over the picture. The basic idea is every week we bring topics of love and hate to the table.
Yes.
For discussion, and then we each decide whether they're worthy of said emotion. And you can join in at home via our Facebook page and group.
Join in now.
Or on the go. If you're on a bus, perhaps, you might be on Facebook.
That
and
is
you
true,
can find us on your phone while you're on the go.
Yes, they have many social media apps.
Social
on
media.
phones nowadays.
I think the
It's
internet's going to be
amazing.
massive.
Yeah,
I've always said it.
You really are a futurist. It's incredible.
Yeah, the internet's going to be huge.
A final thing I was going to say, final bit of housekeeping before we get into the meat of it is that we do have hashtags.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Hashtag Show Called Love and hashtag Show Called Hate if you would like to share topics for discussion on the tweets.
Also, by all means, support us on our Patreon and get
Oh,
access
oh.
to
Oh,
our
look at this.
Oh.
Look at this commercialism.
Right in.
microaggressions show, which you can't hear anywhere else.
That is true, and I believe it's only $1.
It's only $1 a month. You won't even notice that money leave your account, and you'll get access to a whole other episode.
I am not a
Secret
patron to Big Punch Studios and therefore have not heard these episodes.
Oh, that's a very good point, actually. Yes, I should maybe share those with you. So speaking as...
He said uncertainly.
Yes. So speaking as frequent champagne drinkers that we are.
Oh, yeah, well-
just pay us. You won't even notice.
We
that
can't
money.
afford the champagne unless you stop.
Yeah,
How are we going to drink champagne if nobody gives us money?
Well, I mean, getting down to brass tacks. How's everyone's week been?
Pretty good, actually.
Fine. Snowy.
It's been a lot of
that-
snow.
That is true. Yeah. Just kind of testing the water, going ahead.
Oh,
Are we all going to talk about snow this episode, or do we have actual
I'm not.
hates?
I'm not talking about snow.
I'm not talking about snow.
That
Are
was
you?
good. No, I'm not talking about
All right,
snow.
okay,
No, it's
cool.
wonderful. No.
Maybe we should have discussed this before we started recording.
But no, it's spontaneous.
Yeah.
To
We can talk about the snow
really
now.
listen to it. Yeah.
We're spontaneously planning what we're about to say.
Yeah. But we've had snow. It's been snowy.
It's pretty much gone now.
It's been very cold. I got to work from home on Friday,
Oh.
which was lovely. Yeah.
Tweet.
Wrestling with all manner of technological problems.
Wasn't a treat for me because I'm always working at home, and now suddenly you're in the mix.
Yeah,
I know.
that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Had to put your trousers on for once.
Exactly. Yeah.
We didn't have to.
Oh my.
The podcast can't capture my suggestive nodding right now.
I think it captured the awkward silence that ensued.
What happened to you, Rayman? In the past week?
well, I'll come on to this a bit later.
Oh.
In detail.
Oh, I see.
In short, just to summarise what happened, I got trapped in my own bathroom for a number of hours.
Oh wow!
I will come back to that later.
Yeah, okay. We'll put a pin in that for now, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, how do we want to dive in? Does anyone have a hate they'd like to bring to the table?
I'd be happy to
Seeing as you
kickstart
You
us.
sort of half introduced us. Go for it.
Okay.
Dive in.
Well, this isn't to do with that. What
Oh, okay,
I've just
fine.
said,
Oh,
that
I
will
see.
come later.
I see.
You'll be fine. Chuggers is my
Oh,
hate.
there we go.
Right.
So
yeah.
I've been storing this one up for a while, and I've decided now is the time to unleash it. For those of you who don't know what chuggers are, you probably do. Charity muggers. So these are people in the street with clipboards, pretending to be your friends, and just wanting your money. Or worse, coming to your house, or even worse than that, approaching you at Glastonbury where you've paid £250 to get in, not to be lectured by Greenpeace.
Yes.
I hate them.
Oh, I see.
Just to summarise, I don't
I
like
also
being
hate
approached
them.
in the street by strangers, or even friends, frankly.
Question.
I'd rather nobody came up to me in the street.
Have they? Didn't they ban them from?
Well, I still see them in
It's
Cheltenham
clearly
High
not
Street.
working, yeah,
If they
yeah.
have banned them, then there's a lot of people doing it.
because
I saw them just the other day.
I also like the chugging is also like the chugging noise at their little.
Oh, they're not allowed to shake
Oh,
their money
yes,
things.
yes,
and
that
money.
is
Apparently
true, yeah.
that counts as busking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a different
I
license.
guess it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you need to get a busking license.
But I don't like how they just come up to you in the street and I'm clearly trying to avoid you.
Yeah.
I realise this is the nature of your job. I
Yes.
understand that. But just don't. Just don't break stride is my tactic.
Yeah, no,
don't
I
break
never do.
stride.
But that's the horrible thing is when they can see you coming.
Yeah, and they lock eyes.
Yeah, and you're like,
no.
no, yeah.
And they stray towards you, and you're like, oh, this is it now. And I'm going to have the awkward exchange of me just going, no, I'm not interested, thank you, which is my default phrase that I go
I just went,
for.
I always go, not today, thanks.
Oh,
I
right.
pretend I'm in a bad mood, which often I am.
Sometimes I'll pretend to be on the phone.
Yeah.
See, that would be funny if your phone then started ringing. Yeah, mid-conversation. Oh,
no.
I think... I think
Oh, it's okay, it's Greenpeace on the phone.
I think you kind of hit upon it when you said that, like, you appreciate that it's their job, but... And it's that thing where, like, when they've locked eyes at you, and you're heading that way, and they're kind of like...
You know what's coming.
And you're like... And you can see it, and you're like... You're going to start the song and dance.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the whole kind of, oh, sorry, mate, I'm busy.
Avoiding.
We know where this is going.
I think what really annoys me about it, because I understand it's their job, but I think what really annoys me is that they will start their spiel. Because I have, when I was younger, I used to stop, and I never
didn't know how to.
Exactly, I was
not,
too
yeah.
awkward, and you know, felt like I owed them something.
Yeah.
So they always start with, "It's only going to be a couple of minutes, and we're not asking you for money." And both of those are lies.
Both of those are untrue, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's always going to last. Their spiel alone takes about 4 minutes. Then there's the awkward conversation of me trying to go, well, I don't really have any money to spare. Oh, well, how much are you willing to give? Oh, well, I could really only give 50p. Well, 50p's good. Here's a form. And it's like, we're already at 10 minutes at this point.
Yeah.
Coupled with the fact that you are asking me for money now. So, you know, don't lie. Don't barefaced lie. Just own it. Just walk up to someone and go, I'm going to ask you for some money. Do you want to give any? No. Fine. Move on.
Well, see, that's a weird thing, isn't it? Because they cracked down on it when it was like, just give us some money. Just give us some money. And it's like, you can understand how that was almost aggressive. Like the way
That's
that
the thing. It becomes quite aggressive. And do I look vulnerable to that? Is my sort of deep-seated insecurity.
I've always thought-
do I look like the kind of person who will go, oh, all right then, yeah, I will give you some money? Because I
think
won't.
You look vulnerable in a friendly sort of way. I've noticed they always target people who they think are like they could be chummy with.
Yeah.
So if you're walking along and you've got like a cool baseball cap on, or if you've got a T-shirt with Jurassic Park logo on it, or something, that's going to be a hook. And so they're going to be like, "Hey, buddy, hey, we're like-minded, like hipster dudes, millennial chaps. Let's have a chat about something that you're inevitably going to want to support because we're the same kind of people." So we're vulnerable in that sense.
But also, it's like, how could you not care? This is why.
But that's the line they go down.
That's what's really shit.
This is the example I was coming to because I was at Glastonbury a few years ago,
Yeah.
and Greenpeace are the official charity of Glastonbury.
Yeah, they love glass.
They love it.
And
They've got a big stand and all this, that, and the other there. And then me and my cohorts who were there, we were approached by a young woman who started talking to us about Greenpeace.
Yeah.
And we sort of played along. It was like, oh yeah, great. And then
Love green.
And then it got quite aggressive. Like, so you don't care about our planet?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, that's not what I said. And I actually said to her, oh, that's an aggressive question. I went, oh, I don't know if you should be asking that. That's a very leading question you're asking there. She eventually left us alone. But I don't want to pay 250 quid or whatever it is to get into Glastonbury now to be then asked for money.
It's crazy.
I've spent so much money to be here.
Especially as you take a certain amount of cash to Glastonbury, which never lasts, incidentally.
No.
And then you have to go queue up at an ATM, which inevitably has a massive queue or runs out of cash or whatever. And it's like, I need this money for booze. Like, really
I
badly.
really need it.
Like, cider and the odd, like, burrito or something. Like, that's the only way I'm going to get through this weekend alive. I can't give this money to your bullshit cause.
But also, like, if they're super, like, say they're in that instance, like, they're getting super aggressive, they're kind of arguing with you. The end, like, what's the end state there? Like, if they stood there and said, "I'm not leaving until I bring Chris Ray around to my way of thinking," but if they
Not going to happen, by the way.
you are a rock. You cannot be moved. But it's like, if they whittle you down,
Chris Rock.
the end
Chris
state
Rock.
is not that you go, my God, you've shattered my worldview. I'm going to join Greenpeace.
Yeah.
The end state is they get money off you. Like, that's... And
But
then
worse, reluctant money.
Yeah.
Like, they're stealing, basically.
But the other one is, if it isn't like your money, they want your data. They want your sweet data.
They want my-
your,
they want me
your
for a
name and
database.
your...
I'm not so bothered
Email
about
address.
that, I guess,
Yeah.
because I can always unsubscribe to some bollocks. I don't mind that per se, but I've never encountered one that seems to want just that. They always want some money as well.
To be honest, I haven't spoken to one for a good few years. So
Well, that's true,
I
actually,
just
neither
keep
have I.
walking.
Yeah. I think and this is the thing where I do actually feel quite strongly about this, because you almost want to say, it's not that we're heartless. It's not that we kind of like.
I
I think
it's
you're
really-
made to feel that way, though,
It's
aren't
really
you?
unfair to operate like that, though.
Oh yeah, because it's like undoubtedly it's a really good cause.
Yeah, and I
But-
as much as I flippantly said bullshit cause a second ago, I don't mean that, obviously.
No, but I mean, just all these people in general, because
It's the way they sell it.
you've got to hope that they're doing something worthwhile. Like if you're just someone going down the road going, "Hey, I'd really like new double glazing on my house. You know, can you kind of just help me out here?"
Running a Kickstarter for their new front door.
Yeah, you see, that's not good. But if someone's like, we really want to help this terrible illness. We really want to find a cure, and you're like, well, how is that? Of course I see that is an immensely valuable thing.
Yeah.
But the difference is, right now, I'm kind of being held hostage
Yeah.
by your really good intentions, and if I say no, that makes me a bad person.
Yeah.
And it's like a social contract here.
But that's how they get
into
people.
it. Yeah.
Undoubtedly, that's how they get people.
But also, what's their final end state? Because let's say it, in their eyes, is 100% crime that you, after hearing their spiel, wouldn't give them money. Okay, so following that argument, if I talk to 17 people in a day, all of whom operate on that same principle, I'll have no money left, and then I'll die.
Yes.
Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Because, I'm sorry, but regardless of the fact that that's a very extreme example, and I'm not going to talk to 17 people, and I'd never give up all my money, if they're willing to believe it on their level, then they have to believe it for all the others. And there are so many good causes out there that I, Nick Angel, cannot single-handedly prop them all up.
No, because
I can't.
No, because it's like there are problems with the world. We can all agree
that is true.
It's
Yes.
shit.
But also, it shouldn't. The weight of the world shouldn't rest on the shoulders of any one person.
No.
So yeah, as you say, if you walk down the road and you gave every chugger the time of day, you'd be bankrupt by the end of the road.
Yeah.
And the world wouldn't be a better place because it wouldn't have solved.
As it currently stands, not to be braggy, but I have direct debit set up for 3 charities that I pay into every month. The ones that I've chosen that I want to support with my money.
Yeah.
I feel like if everyone did that and they all chose their specific charities, then, or even just one, then we're okay. I understand that the charity is doing its best to try and pull people together or whatever, but geez.
And sometimes if it's in the moment, it used to back when we were younger. I'm pointing at Chris Ray.
Hi.
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
He's here, and he's here today. We used to go drinking in a pub in Gloucester, the Regal.
I remember
back when
it.
We started out.
Good God.
Massive. Oh, it's a beautiful establishment, but massive.
Used to be a cinema.
Yeah, so really
nice.
big interior, and you would occasionally get charity people going from table to table with a little bucket.
Yes.
Really?
And it's but in that instance, you kind of don't mind because it's like that kind of, it's all about the moment, and they're like, right now, could you spare 10, 20p? And you're like,
Yeah, giving
absolutely,
change. Yeah.
That's the thing, yeah. That's probably more successful.
You'd think, wouldn't you?
I would like to think
Yeah.
so. And I don't mind that. If someone's and sometimes it's quite a personal cause. It's like, my niece needs an operation or something like
Yeah.
that. And it's like, okay, yeah, sure, I can give you a quid. I can spare that. That's
Yeah.
fine. But don't come up to me and expect me to, as you say, prop up your organisation, having just approach me in the street.
Yeah, because
or at my house.
But
God,
also,
the house is the worst.
Coming to my house. Is there a
Yeah.
law against that?
There should be.
Why are they coming to my house?
when we lived together, I'm pointing at. Oh, Chris Ray.
Hi,
He's
hi.
here again.
Just exclude me, it's fine.
Who?
Ha!
Who are you?
Oh my God, there's a third guy here.
I love you guys.
Oh, it's so funny.
But when we lived together in the House of Trouser with 2 other of our good friends, a guy came by the door.
I don't know if you're going to tell the story that I have in mind, but I'll tell it if you don't.
Well, I'm thinking of a guy came to the door quite late on a.
Yeah, well, you say what you're going to say.
Well,
and then
this is how I remember it anyway. But a guy came to the door who's quite late. It was quite late in the day. It was dark outside. He just kind of knocks on the door and he said, "Oh, I'm here. We're trying to collect money for some kind of charity. It was an illness one, I think. It was pretty, and you're obviously like, oh, that's terrible, but and that thing where he kind of says, oh, he's got ID, and holds up, and it's
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything to me.
it's like a picture of him and some writing. I'm like, I don't know what the official ID of your organisation or the National Chuggers Association looks like. I don't know.
CA.
But he just wouldn't take no for an answer. Are we thinking
No,
of
this
the
is
same-
this. I'm thinking of something different.
Oh, because I remember that.
I've got 2 funny stories about chuggers
excellent.
from that house.
But our good friend James Eastwood went to the door, and who can stand his ground if he wants to.
I've
and,
seen him stand his ground.
Yeah, and they are just kind of going back and forth for ages on the door, and just basically saying, "We are not going to give any money, and the guy just not taking no for an
Yeah.
answer. It was really bad.
He had the bit between his teeth. I'm thinking of two different ones. One was when I answered the door. I was the unfortunate sod who answered the door. And the guy goes, "Oh, hi, I'm here for..." And it was a charity to do with exotic diseases. Or an exotic disease. I can't remember what it was.
So not as boring diseases.
No, and he goes, he gives me the spiel about, it's for illnesses that are picked up in these countries. Have you ever been anywhere exotic? And I went, what? Have I ever been to these places that you've just said are full of disease on holiday? I was like, why are you asking me that?
Why is that relevant?
Why are you trying to ask me something like that? It was so weird.
You look sickly. Are you?
Yeah, it was like, I'm here for diseases in like Costa Rica, and I was like, have you ever been anywhere nice? What?
Is this your way
Why
of
are you
trying
asking
to
me that?
like win me over? Do you have malaria?
And it was just weird, and I went, I'm not going to give you any money. Just shut the door. And the other one is, same house. Richard Holton answered the door.
Oh, no.
And was asked if his mum and dad were in. We were like 24, 25. And he went, hi buddy, are your mum or dad in? And I was in the lounge, I just burst out laughing. And he just went, no, I'll live here with friends. Oh, students, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting
And we
any
weren't
money out,
students, we were working full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Just on discussion of tropical diseases.
I see.
I was once waiting in. I think I was at a doctor's or something, and I was waiting in like a reception area, and I didn't have. I was not the one with tropical disease.
Oh, that's
But
good.
I was chatting with like the receptionist, and she said something. Like her husband had been. He said her husband had been somewhere, and he'd been taking anti-malaria tablets.
Sure.
And there's various brands you can get. I've taken them in the past when I've been abroad, and some are better than others. Like there's one which is really bad because you only have to take like one, say, a week. I'm exaggerating, but the risk is that it can cause like really crazy hallucinations. You can get like really crazy fevers, and we'd gone for the one which was more kind of middle of the road, where you had to take one every day, and you had to take it for like a month before you went and a month afterwards.
Oh, God, okay.
So that was a pain, but
Yeah.
you didn't have any like weird side effects.
Fine.
So she was telling the story about how her husband had to take these pills, and he'd had a really bad reaction. Like he started hallucinating, he started kind of like losing his mind on them. And, as this kind of like camaraderie, I was going like, wow, yeah. I mean, what a rough deal. I mean, it'd almost be easier to get malaria. But obviously joking. I realised saying that, but like obviously, it's all about context. Like we were having a laugh about it, and I said, it almost be easier to have malaria. And on a dime, she just turned and said, no, it's a really serious disease. And I was like,
I know.
That's the joke.
yes.
And this is why you don't joke with the public.
And that's why I don't go to doctors.
That's why I don't leave the house.
So there you go. I think you're probably on the same page as me with that one.
We are on the same page.
God,
So there you
how
go.
could you not be? That is the worst. I hate charity muggers.
I think we've touched on something similar in the past, just where if someone is being rude, say, by calling them on it occasionally,
Yeah.
you're the bad guy.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have talked
yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
They only get away with that behaviour because nobody wants to be the person to...
And that's what they capitalise on. So it's the
Yeah.
idea of you couldn't possibly go, fuck off,
Oh,
to
there
someone
goes our-
who's-
That
there
would
goes
be
our
good.
family
That would
friendly-
be
because
good.
of monetisation.
Yeah.
You couldn't possibly say that to someone who's asking for money to save puppies from incinerators.
No, because you'd be an awful person.
Yeah.
But again, they rely on everyone kind of just being nice, and they get away with it.
Yeah.
Donate to worthy causes if you can.
Oh,
But
absolutely,
you don't
yeah.
have to. That's the message.
That is the message, and it's like it's your money and it's your life, and
Do what you want with your own money.
yeah.
Frankly, we bought toys the other week. Our own decisions.
Yeah, I wish you hadn't said that.
Yeah,
in the
no,
context
yeah.
of charity.
Move along. Move along. Move along.
Do you have a hate?
I have a hate. Yeah, I'll
bring it.
go for it.
Lay it out there.
Mine is I hate it when people talk about adulting.
Oh.
So when people brag about doing something that they consider to be a grown-up thing to do, and they brag about it in such a way as to go, "Look at me! Look how grown up I am."
Adulting.
That is a word.
I've heard the term adulting.
So
yes.
sometimes they might post something like on their Instagram or something, and it'll be a picture of, I don't know, a form they filled in. Probably not, because that would be legal documentation. But or I don't know, like I've been doing some work on the porch.
a
this
summons.
weekend. Yeah.
Hey.
Subpoena.
Another court appearance for not paying my child.
Hashtag adulting.
Someone dressed as Batman on the side of the Buckingham Palace.
I feel like
adulting.
that might be the opposite, and therefore much funnier. But no, it's when they'll do something, and they're so proud of the fact that they're doing something that they consider to be a grown-up thing to do, that they will then brag about it in the context of saying that they are grown up. And they will do something like hashtag adult life or hashtag adulting.
I was going to say, I get the impression this is a hashtag kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of someone saying, look how grown up I am, hashtag YOLO.
Yeah. But also
Fuck you.
the very act of bragging about how grown up you are is a really immature thing to do. Like, it's not grown up at all.
But nobody, or maybe I'm wrong, but it's always like really, I'd imagine if people are bragging about it, it'd be really kind of like textbooky kind of things.
Oh god, yes, no, absolutely. So it's like cooked a roast dinner.
Yeah.
Hashtag adulting.
But no one. But it's like 90% of it is just turning up, like life, like being an adult. So nobody hashtags. Oh man, got up at 6:15 again and caught the train to work. Adulting.
I know.
Yeah,
exactly.
Lads.
Like, bottom line is, we're all children.
Children. We're all childs.
We're all idiots, stumbling through life. None of us knows how we got to where we are, and we're lying about our competency in that field day to day.
Yeah, nobody is.
Everyone is aware of that, or if they're not, they should. Like, I'm telling you now, like, no one is confident as everyone else appears. Like, you think you're the only one who is lying and faking your way through life. It's okay. Everyone else is.
Yeah.
No one, I don't think, ever becomes an adult. I work with, and you work with, I know for a fact, John, people who are just a day-to-day car crash. And yet they are, like, in their early 50s. And it's like, how can this be possible? And the answer is, no one ever gets it. No one ever gets their grown-up badge. You don't suddenly one night flick over and the next morning you're like, I am a grown-up man. You never know what you're doing any day ever. And so this whole thing is a way to sort of pretend, and it's a lie, and we're all just idiots, and it's fine. It's
very good. I agree.
Yeah. It is weird, isn't it? Like, I feel...
But as a kid, you sort of look, or as a toddler or whatever,
yeah, absolutely.
You look at an adult and think, oh, that's an adult.
Yeah.
They know what's going on. We don't.
But it's
if you're a young person out there, we don't.
We really don't. If you're listening now, we have no idea. But it's like, there is some stuff that we've had to learn about. You know, we're going through buying a house. I've learned a lot of stuff by doing that. You know, your day job, just showing up to work. It's kind of a big deal.
Just
every day, you don't go, oh, I don't want to go, and don't. You do. You show up. So there was a lot of mature stuff that you do. But despite all of that mature stuff that I do every day, just to get some money into the house, pay the bills, etc., I'm still a child. 100% through and through. I still love that toy run to Toys R Us, just to bring that back.
I think that's probably quite healthy, though.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I don't want to get to a point where I'm like, you know, hashtag adulting 24/7, and I'm like just cooking nothing but roast dinners. I don't even.
It's Tuesday gone. You've gone mad.
John, please
stop. Please put the fork down.
John, stop forcing it into a lunchbox and taking it to work.
It's just like, it isn't. I mean, like, if you could define being an adult, it's just getting stuff done.
Yeah,
I think at most, like, it's just kind of knowing.
But I don't think we need to say. Like you said, I don't think we need to define that as being an adult. It's just being a person.
Yeah, there's no
being a person is a balance between doing just enough mature stuff to make sure your life carries on, you don't starve to death and live on the streets. That coupled with being an idiot. That's life. That's the whole package. You are just mature and boring enough to get the things done that allow you to be an idiot. That's it. End of. No one's an adult.
I think it's weird how I've always equated age with wisdom.
Yeah.
And it's this idea that, like, if I'm only just starting to get over it, but if I meet anyone older than me, I always have this assumption that they are further, just so much further along mentally, and like, you know.
Yet, what about the people you work with, John?
I know. Well, it's astonishing. Like, I have met a lot of people who are like, how do you function? Like, this is incredible.
You're 20 years further down the line than me in your life, and yet I am propping you up day to day at work.
Yeah. I guess it also means we should give younger people an easier time, because they might...
Depends which bit of them.
I mean, the amount of a person that is an idiot is greater when they're younger than when they're older.
Yes.
I'll admit that the size of idiocy, the ratio of idiot to functionality in life shifts over your life. And you become, maybe as a kid, you're 100% idiot. And then maybe at the age of 20, you're sort of like 90% idiot.
Yes,
And
pretty
then
much.
at 30, you sort of suddenly flip to maybe like 75% idiot. I think I'm at about 75% idiot. There's a 25% chunk of me that handles all the serious stuff.
I can be serious when I need to be, but I don't enjoy it.
No.
That's
Or
where
I
I'm
won't go
at.
out of my way to chase it. And I won't shout
Yeah.
about it with a fucking hashtag.
But also, it's like you're a homeowner.
Thank
Chris
you.
Ray. It's like you have a home.
Thanks.
You've been doing that for a while, and it's like
4 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
But that
know.
hasn't made you any less of an idiot.
No, exactly.
And I mean that in the nicest
Well, I
possible
got
way.
locked in my bathroom not 3 days ago.
3 days hence.
When did have you ever had a point where you felt maybe it didn't change your life going forward, but a moment where you felt, oh, I am an adult? Like, was there ever like a?
I think no. Actually, categorically, no.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had
had
an epiphany, so to speak, about it.
I think I've had moments where I've been like, oh my god, I'm doing something that I honestly didn't think I'd ever be capable of.
Yeah.
Such as buying a house. That was one for me. Like, I honestly didn't know how I would ever be in a position to do that. Because I consider myself such a child and such an idiot.
I think like even 3-4 years ago, if you'd asked me, are you ready to buy a house now and try and take that big step, I would have been. I just couldn't have pictured myself.
It seems to me the
doing it.
biggest life lesson I've learned growing up is you're never ever ready for those things. They come at a time that you can't possibly prepare for, and even if you tried to, they would still come at a time that you weren't prepared to do them. Like
Learn
it's
by
what,
doing.
It's what they say about having kids. Like you're never ready, so you may as well just have them when you want them. Like you won't save up enough money. You'll never be financially 100% completely secure and ready for a child or ready for a house or ready for a pet or anything.
Yeah.
You've just got to go for it if you want it, and everything else will work out. You'll work it out.
What's really weird is that I often joke that like I can barely look after myself. Like I do not feel I'd be any way qualified to look after a child.
Yeah.
And I think back, and I'm like what 31 now.
Well remembered.
Yeah, because I can count because I'm an adult, and it's like I can't imagine. Personally, for me, I can't imagine like having had a kid at the age of like 21.
No, that
or
seems
something.
insane.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I'd probably go as far as to say I was 95% idiot when I was 21. Like
I think that's got to just be the innate state of being 21.
I wasn't much more than a teenager.
No,
Looking back, I was such a greenhorn.
a what?
Yeah, I just wheeled that one out.
Greenhorn.
Green.
I don't know what that means.
Is that
Rubbish
rhino
phrase
talk?
for just like noob.
Oh,
No,
greenhorn.
what? Really?
Oh, we're going to focus on this.
Yeah, I want to get to the bottom of that. That's a thing.
I don't know what the etymology of it is, but it's like an Americanism. Like, oh, he's such a greenhorn.
Greenhorn.
Yeah. Maybe it's like young rhinos' horns are green.
When they're growing on trees before they drop off.
Yeah.
Well, rhinos are half tree, aren't they?
Yeah, mostly, yeah.
Because they look like they're made of bark.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
So there we go, nailed that one.
Good eating. I once was in a supermarket
Oh.
and I was shopping.
Were you?
Yes,
Oh my
indeed.
god,
What were
hashtag
you-
adulting.
What were you shopping for, John?
I can't. I think
Roast
that's
dinner stuff.
I think
Goods and
that's-
services,
I
yeah.
think that's irrelevant. But I remember.
Oh, good though.
I felt the only moment where I felt like an adult, and it was only for a second, is when
Good.
there was a mom with her little kid,
Mm.
and they were just walking past us, and she said like, "Oh, just move out the man's way." And I was like, "Which man?"
Yeah.
Where?
Where is he? Yeah.
She means me.
I'm like, "Oh God, there's a man
Oh,
here.
no.
I need an adult."
Yes, that's
yeah.
a very good example actually, and I think I've had a moment like that before, where it's like, oh, I'm being referred to as a man.
When you're called like sir.
Yeah.
Someone calls you sir, and you sort of look behind you,
Can I help you, sir?
Yeah, you can't like.
and it's
what's-
like, who are you speaking to? You're looking at me, but you can't be speaking
It's like
to
that
me.
thing when you're looking at like a young, probably teenage, 16, 17, in his first job behind the counter of say a coffee shop or something, and you look at him and you're thinking, he's like my people. He's like my age.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
like,
Hello,
crap,
fellow young people.
I'm double his age. Actually, he's not my people at all. He's
Yeah.
using like half the words he's using. I don't know. One of them is leet.
I think we're definitely getting to the point now where I feel we're starting to be behind the curve
Yes.
now.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
pop. That pop.
But I don't
bubble
want this
where-
conversation, which is beginning now. I don't want this to stray into the exact territory that I said was my hate, which is, oh, look how grown up we are. Blah, blah. No. We can be behind the wave. That's fine.
Yeah.
But we're still not adults. Okay?
That is true. Yeah, we're just kind of slightly out of touch, overgrown children.
And
really.
even if, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're just getting more and more out of touch, but we're still children. We're the children of our childhood, just older. That's what we are.
Yes.
And I think even if you do think in your head, oh my god, I'm an adult now, don't brag about it. Don't hashtag it.
I think the true adult, if the truly adult stuff are the things you don't think about.
Yeah.
Surely that has to be it. Like
We all do them. I'm not saying that we shouldn't go out of our way to secure our lives, get a mortgage.
Well, no,
etc.
that's just life. Isn't it?
Don't bang on about it.
Yeah, there's more interesting stuff about your life that makes you who you are than the stuff that everyone does. Like, we all do that stuff, and it's fine.
Oh, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, why not shout?
Don't define yourself by the really boring, everyday domestic shit that everyone else does. Because that doesn't make you stand out or look special. Tell me about the comic you're drawing. Tell me about the toys you bought from Toys R Us. Tell me about the silly art that you got for the wall. That sort of stuff is what makes you you. Not the fact that you cooked a roast dinner on Sunday and that you bought a house. Everyone's doing that.
Or do what Rayman does and cook pork in Coke.
Or apple juice.
That's funky and weird.
Or apple juice.
Yeah, did that with a ham. I had some of that.
Posh ham and egg and chips.
When's the next one of those?
Well, I'm cooking a ham today.
Oh.
Hashtag adulting.
Oh, I hate you.
No, I actually am. That's not that interesting.
Cool. Well, it was very delicious, though.
Thank you.
Yeah,
very,
it was
very,
remarkable,
very
yeah.
kind.
Rant over.
That was a good rant.
Thanks.
Well, I guess
Glad
I
you agree.
Now, my hate is a little obscure, but I'm going to try and explain it as autobiographical raps.
Hmm.
I was going to say autobiographies or biographies.
That's the word.
Autobiographies with twee titles.
Go, such as
She's such a writer hate.
Okay, no. This is like just kind of browse. Like you're in Tesco's and there's like books by the counter, which oddly enough there are in the local one by the station, or you're just kind of like by the newsagents, and it's like there's a book, and it will be like beloved TV presenter or beloved actor, kind of like in the later years, and it's maybe volume 3 of like their biography.
Who's been following that series?
But it was yeah, and also that's a side note. How do you get 3 volumes out of it? Like surely
25 years old.
yeah, it's like
X Factor contestant.
Harry Styles, Volume 7. What?
your first biography takes you from birth to the age of 65, and then like what happened in the last year since I wrote the biography.
I died.
But no, anyway, and it'll be like, so picture it. It's a hardback. It's a headshot of your favourite actor.
Front on, just staring right out at you.
National treasure.
Pamson
Kind
Clement.
of smiling in like a kind of benevolent, godlike manner.
Oh yeah.
Like, remember me? But the title will be something like, I don't know, Brown Shoes on Tuesday or something like that. Or
I know what you
it will
mean.
be like, my personal, the real worst one is where like they're talking to someone. So it's like, ain't it hard, Mom?
Yeah.
The collected memories of, or,
Yeah, in quotes. What happened to Clement?
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly it. But I don't like fruitcake. Yeah. And it's annoying because it's always just harking to...
Take care, lambs on road.
Yeah, it's really harking to this over-sentimentalised version of a twee rural life that probably didn't exist.
Yeah. It's like colloquialising your trivial bollocks.
And it's
I get it.
or it'll be a pocket full of shillings and a slap on the arse
Yes.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
that sort of thing, yeah.
And I don't know if that's better or worse than
2-story terrace house.
or it's like
That's just a description.
2 up, 2 down.
Yeah.
well, see, that's maybe in the middle ground. What if it's just like my story or
You don't like that either.
memories?
So you don't like random ones, and you
Just
don't
call
like
it-
my autobiography.
Yeah, because every
My autobiography.
every biography
John Locke's
is just called
autobiography.
my story.
A John Locke story.
I don't know, but is that the thing though? If you have like a catchphrase, does it need to become the title of your biography?
Yours would be called Life to the Afterlife. No, that's
Oh.
rubbish. I don't like
This would
it.
be when Jack Fortune was murdered. He arrived to an afterlife in chaos and proceeded to take it over like a business.
cracked bloody record for John Locke.
But actually, even that is horrible. Like, I
Yeah.
hate that. Like,
Yeah.
cracked bloody record. And then that's like underneath the John Locke story. I was like,
I
fuck, I
just
don't
call
care.
it. All I want from an autobiography is like
Just put their name.
just John Locke, the autobiography.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need like.
Yeah, all it is it's a pithy, pointless title that adds nothing, but also takes away nothing. It's like totally neutral.
Yeah.
We're coming to it because of who that person is, and we want to know about their life.
Yeah, and also do me a favour, come up with a more interesting cover, please. I do not need yet another like mid shot of an actor wearing a tie-less shirt with one hand on an elbow and kind of
I'm
stroking
like
their
one
chin.
of you.
or wearing a sweater, or that one where they're leaning on their hand.
Yeah,
going,
there are very, very similar.
Oh, and it's just going. They're just gurning. It's just this big, shit-eating smile.
Speaking of those crappy covers, who's that guy who judges Bake Off?
Hollywood.
Paul Hollywood. There's a recipe book, I think, of his, which is like him on the front cover, just staring out in that exact same sort of piercing way. And there's like flour in the air.
Yes.
So it's been thrown.
I saw that.
But if you look inside the book, on the inside back cover spread is all the rejected images that didn't make the cover. It's actually really funny.
Because it was really hard to get.
Because they were just throwing flour, and like half of them are hitting him in the side of the face, and then some of them are just out of shot, and they didn't quite make it in. And so it's just loads and loads of like Plan B, and then they had Plan A, which was the one that made it on the front, which was actually the shittest. Hilarious.
I know that one shot you're talking about of Paul Hollywood.
Yeah,
is it the one where he's kind of like smiling again benevolently, but he's like holding up his hand and there's flour pouring down?
Yeah.
Or...
Maybe. I thought
I know
it was
the one you're
flour
talking
coming
about.
from the side.
Or maybe it's a different.
Maybe I'm thinking of Mary Berry. Maybe someone's throwing flour at Mary Berry.
Was Paul Hollywood for?
Yeah, he was off camera.
Sounds like the kind of thing he would do.
Yeah, monster.
Allegedly.
Child donation.
I read a biography of David Bowie, which was really good.
You like Bowie?
Because I do, it's true. But it wasn't written from his perspective, obviously. It was just written by someone who researched his life. And I was like, that was a very good book.
Mm.
And then after David Bowie sadly passed away, I picked up another book about Bowie, and it was really bad.
Really?
It was written like a weird kind of like beat poem in a weird way. It was like I could only get like a couple of chapters in because I'm like, this is telling me nothing.
Oh, really?
And between chapters it would have like these interstitials where it would just be like, Bowie is an inverted diamond spinning backwards through time.
God.
Endlessly reborn and born
Only
again.
Bowie gets away with saying stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like no. Yeah, it's like
you can't have that.
Don't step to Bowie. You can't do this right now. Yeah. So, and I think
what were the covers like to those, and what were they called?
I'm trying to remember actually. The first one was a proper piece of like rock journalism. It was just like a grainy black and white photo of him on stage, and it was just like David Bowie, the untold story, or something.
Yeah, see, that's
like that.
fine. Yeah.
It's not too bad. It wasn't too bad. There was the thing that kind of brought this hate to mind was I was in the kind of airport kind of news agency kind of thing, coming back from the honeymoon, and they had like the third biography of I think it was like a Aussie rock singer. The guy, he's in like Cold Chisel. I can't remember his name. He's in that weird...
the screaming guy.
The screaming cowboy guy from that weird song that came out last year.
Does
that ring a bell?
No, not
you've
really.
probably seen it. It's like it's been memeified to death, but it was something like, because he'd grown up in Glasgow, it of course was tapping into that super twee thing which I mentioned, which annoyed me so much. Jimmy Barnes.
Did you see it there? Or?
Yeah, I know. It just suddenly reminded me.
Yeah, Jimmy Barnes.
But it was a classic thing because it's like he lived his entire life in Australia, but because he'd grown up in Glasgow, he couldn't escape the fact that like he had to name volume 3 of his biography was something like, "Oh, it ain't half cold, Mom."
That's perfect.
The Jimmy Barnes story.
Oh, it ain't half cold, Mom.
Yeah,
yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, nailed it.
Ugh.
I agree.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Yeah, no, we're all on the same.
I'm trying to think what mine would be called now. In my mind, I'm thinking, what would I call my autobiography? Anyway, let's not sit here in silence.
Yeah.
Maybe our listeners can come up with ideas for us.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Post our titles to our autobiographies.
Just put it on Facebook or Twitter.
We can mock up some covers.
We'll mock up some covers.
I'm not sure I own enough jumpers to look woolly and non-threatening enough on the cover. Anyway, let's get some listeners.
Speaking of listeners,
hate mail.
I have one here from Imogen, who says, I hate public speakers, lecturers, etc., who have dull voices. Why are they not more self-aware? ? Exclamation mark.
Well,
I think she has a point. I think being a teacher or a public speaker, you have an obligation to not just deliver the information, but to deliver it well, and engagingly. And if you don't, then you're half your job you're not doing.
Thinking back to my time at uni, there's definitely, and you don't tar academics with the same brush. There's some very good academics, and there's some, not very good academics. But it was like some of them don't like students.
So why did you get into this business?
That's the thing. They maybe got into like. It's like, hey, I want to work at this university, and it's great because I'll get like a research grant, and I can do all the sciencey stuff I want. But the flip side of that is that you are required to teach for like several hours a week, and that's just like not their bag. They're not interested.
To be fair, the lecturers I remember are the ones who were funny and who were a bit off the wall. There's two I remember off the top of my head, which was one lecturer introduced, like starting his lecture with going, Google, fucking Google, and we just always remember that. That's how he started his lecture one week.
Did you have any lecturers who came in with a guitar over their shoulder and like leather?
There was a guy
on,
who was the dad of one of the Kooks. Was one of my lecturers, I think.
That's a shame.
And he told a story about how he woke up in, like, 2 days before this lecture. He woke up on a railway platform and he was cutting sick out of his hair with nail scissors. And he told us this story and he was like, what? How does this relate to sports journalism?
I don't need to know about this.
It could be like rock and roll journalism.
Yeah, but you remember things like that. It's true. If you're sort of monotone and boring, then you're not that memorable, are you?
I had an illustration tutor who was always just a bit inappropriate. And he was always like commenting on like the sexuality and things. So like one of our like students drew like a worm-like character, and he was like, "That's a bit phallic, isn't it?" We're like, "No, it's a worm, you weirdo." No. And then it transpired that one of his biggest illustration gigs that kind of put him on the map as an illustrator was he illustrated a version of the Kama Sutra.
Oh my!
So it all started to fall into place after that. Literally and physically.
It's like someone shows him like a landscape painting. Goes, "Oh, it's a bit phallic, isn't it?" He's like, no.
And you look back at him, he's just looking at his phone. Oh, what was this?
I'm sorry, what?
I had. It's funny you mentioned like the teachers you remember. We had a cover teacher for English back in GCSE, and I can't remember his name, and he was only there for like a few weeks, right at the end of our time doing the subject, and he was really good because he didn't teach like he never stuck to like the teaching plan, and he just kind of inspired us. He was just like he would have been like a movie. You know,
Yeah,
it would have been like one of those movies like
The Supply Teacher.
Yeah, or The Best Days of Our Lives. you know. Oh god, that's another biography. But then I remember like on the last day he said, I'm not gonna do any teaching today. I'm just gonna tell you a story. And for an hour he just talked and told this story about a friend of his who had a lot of troubles in life and had kind of like been on a lot of medication and all this kind of stuff, and just kind of like all these kind of wacky stories about how they got him out of hospital and they all went drinking and then wheeled him back to hospital again, and it was just like this big wacky thing, and we're all just sitting there like in utter like kind of rapt kind of like oh my god, like this is amazing, and then the bell goes and before he finishes the story and he's like okay, well off you go, it's been a pleasure. And we're like no, I'm like but what happened to him? You're like, what was the big ending you were building up to? He's like, oh yeah, he killed himself. And okay, off you go. And we're like, wow. Yeah.
Bye then. Nice to meet you.
Always remember that though.
There you go, Pete. You remember off the wall people. Changing direction entirely. Ned Newbury says, I hate how expensive Lego is. Yeah. Owning the Millennium Falcon will only be the privilege of rich kids and hardcore collectors. Also, that I don't have anyone to do a toy run with.
Oh,
Ned.
Ned.
Oh, Ned. Well, we do.
If we sent a constellation, Ned, we wouldn't have invited you. So. I'm joking, of course, Ned. But oddly enough, on our toy run, we did see a big Lego Death Star.
We did indeed, on display.
Which was maybe, like 3 foot across? Or 2 foot, maybe?
Maybe 2 foot,
2 foot, yeah.
I can sympathise with Ned, because I was going to get some Lego with our... What was our budget again? 15?
20 quid.
And like even the smallest kit would have used most of that money up.
It's very expensive for what it is, Lego.
Yeah.
I agree that it's cool. When I'm looking at your Civil War airport thing at the moment, John, which is very nice, and I like it. It looks very nice.
Well,
but I bet it was bastard expensive.
Well, that was a birthday present.
Well, all right, not for you then, but someone.
But I know what you mean, though. It is, like, because as a kid, like, Lego was, like, the greatest toy I had. Like, I loved it so much, but they are getting more elaborate and more kind of...
I have a Lego set from Christmas I'm still to build, actually, so that'll be good.
What is that of?
That is of the Phantom Menace. It's the fight at the end of the Phantom Menace.
With the pit. And
with
Darth
the pit,
Maul.
exactly that, yeah. So I've got some Lego sets, but yeah, it is expensive, I agree.
I worry that it might be kind of like... what's a word for it? Like, they've come up with an acronym for adults who love Lego.
Careful.
Is it adult fan of Lego or something?
Yeah.
Affle.
Affle.
adult fan of Lego.
Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah.
See, I'm taking issue with it slightly. Going back to my hate. Just fans of Lego. It's okay.
But it's the idea that like
there are older people than kids. I know.
yeah,
I get it.
no. But it's like the idea that like because I'm kind of among those people. Like I love Lego, and because I'm not being an adult,
Yes.
I own Lego.
Thanks,
And
John.
in fact, I intend to
I appreciate
display
that.
Lego.
Oh,
once we
you're
are
displaying
moved
it very
into the
nicely.
house,
There's
yeah.
some Ant-Man stuff over there as well.
Ant-Man.
But I do
Gene
wonder,
Ant-Man.
I do wonder if like young John nowadays wouldn't be able to kind of get into it because it is a bit like they are becoming
Prohibitively
more
expensive.
kind of luxury items as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. It's great stuff, Lego, but it is damn expensive, especially the popular brands like Marvel and Star Wars and what have you.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a show about adult fans of Lego.
Oh, it's good.
Like
It's on the More 4 app if you're interested.
Ah.
It's behind the scenes at Lego. It's really interesting.
I think I've seen that as well.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
That's really... yeah. And there was like a guy who was trying to set up like a super high end luxury Lego magazine.
Yeah.
Like and it looked like super.
Like a sort of like a sort of indie kind of,
Yeah.
but glossy.
Yeah.
It was
If you're interested, people out there, Ned, for example, More 4 app, just put in Lego. There's a few shows now.
Yeah,
on there.
we're not
It's interesting.
not sponsored. By
Hashtag
More
not a
Fun.
sponsor.
God, if we were sponsored by
Sponsored.
Logos,
We could afford all the Lego we wanted.
If we were sponsored by Marfa,
I'm not going to get sponsored by anyone because I can't speak. But yeah.
There we go. That's the hates for now.
no, there's
I don't think that we got some loves.
Well, I know that
What about our boy Gibbo?
That's a love. Gibbo sends us love.
That's true.
Gibbo, I'm so sorry.
Underneath Imi's post about
I didn't
hating
look at the
public
comments.
speakers, Stephen says, true story, once at a networking event where a bunch of venture capitalists were presenting to a load of freelancers in the creative industries. He was once at one of these. Imagine a reverse Dragon's Den, and all but one of these people were terrible presenters. One guy told us we could find his organisation by Googling their initials, which happened to be A-R-T. So you'd just be Googling art.
I don't really know where to
No.
begin on that.
You would not find that company.
That is astonishing. This is good. This is great.
This is good
great.
audio.
great,
This.
great.
Yeah.
We're
I
just
was trying to
reading. We're
find
just reading the
another one.
Facebook comments.
Yeah, killing us, Nick.
Really entertaining.
Give us a love anyway.
What, my one?
Yeah.
Oh, all right then.
Let's just
Well,
roll
having
into it, yeah.
Nick having said about adulting,
Oh, no.
I'm gonna sort of
Oh, no.
flirt with that idea a bit
God.
and say when you do it, because I'm notoriously shit at DIY. And this all relates to the bathroom door breaking. I fixed the bathroom door, and I like it when something goes to plan in that regard, in terms of a DIY project.
Sure. That's fine.
Yeah. I got locked in the bathroom, as I may have mentioned earlier on this podcast, 3 days ago, because the handle was working, but the latch wasn't coming back in with it,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I could not open the door.
So, quick question. The door had problems. You fixed it, and then...
No. This there was no problem with the door.
Oh, the door was
up
fine.
until this getting trapped in the bathroom.
Incident, yeah.
The incident.
And I had to. The dog was in with me as well, so I gave her a toilet roll to play with, and there was toilet roll all over
Must
the
have
floor.
made a lot of mess.
Yes, it did. 2 hours later, I'm still there, trying to use any implement I can find in the bathroom to prise the door open. I ended up finding some nail scissors and was able to prise the door open just enough that I could just yank it back in.
Did it destroy the...
The mechanism inside, I basically ripped out
Wow.
by the end, and then I ripped up the plates off the door
Using your Hulk-like...
using my brawn.
So, was there any indication that it was going this way? Did it
No,
catch?
not
Did
at
it
all.
add-
Not at all. It just randomly happened. I couldn't open the door. You pull the handle, wasn't working.
So can we say 100% for certain that Liz didn't
Booby trap.
pull the...
I don't think we can say that for certain.
Oh, no, I mean...
She's not here to defend herself.
Now, just to clarify, this is the second time in your life that
This is
you've
the
been
second time this
trapped
has
in a-
happened to
in
me.
a
It happened
toilet.
when I lived at my mum's house, because most young people do live with their parents.
Indeed.
The lock fell out of the toilet door while I was in there, and I was home alone. I don't know why I locked it. Anyway, and I was locked in there for 4 hours. There was no way of getting out, and they were at the NEC at an event.
And this isn't like, oh, you're locked in the bathroom, I can have a lie down. This is like...
My mum's, it's just a toilet.
Yeah, it's just a box.
They're uncomfortable spaces to be in if you don't want to be in there to do some biz.
Yeah. Having said that, I did fall asleep. I sort of hugged the toilet and fell asleep.
I seem to remember you saying, like, didn't you read, like, the bleach bottles? For
Yeah, I
skinny-
read all the ingredients on the bleach.
That would have taken maybe 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe less.
And I
read
counted the
it
tiles
again.
on the ceiling. I was counting all the... because they're quite small tiles. So I was counting them. And then I fell asleep. And then they got back 4 hours later and I went, hello, I'm in the bathroom. And they were like, okay. No, I'm trapped in the toilet.
You don't understand.
I'm wasting away in here.
Anyway, I fixed the door today. Me and Liz fixed the door.
Oh, bravo.
DIY wise. So I was quite pleased with that because Nick knows my DIY skills are shit. We talked about it previously when I tried to drill a hole in my wall.
Yes.
On the one where you were away.
I don't really have a high ground here.
No.
Because I did drill into a gas.
I think I
pipe.
mentioned your story.
Yes,
in that podcast.
that was somewhat
Oh,
terrifying.
with the gas, yes.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
But things like that, because I'm just terrible at DIY, and I was quite pleased to be able to fix that without having to call in a handyman, which I assumed I would.
I too am terrible at DIY. Like, it just that's the end of it, really.
I've put up a shelf or two in my life.
There you go.
One of which fell on my head.
That does not paint
There
me in
are
a good
big
light.
cracks in that wall there.
Genuinely, I'm pointing to a wall in the study now where there are two jagged holes in the wall where...
My proudest DIY moment, which does not paint me as adult in any possible light, was when we dug Ali's old Mega Drive out and plugged it into the TV. It didn't work.
Oh.
So I subsequently took it to pieces and sort of noticed some corrosion, brushed it with a toothbrush, tried various other things, put it all back together, plugged it in, and it worked.
Nice.
I was like, I fixed a Mega Drive.
Well, you and I had a moment of success in the last couple of days because, of course, we'd had like a load of snow, had a massive cold snap, and we've all kind of just been holed up in the big punch towers with snow everywhere, and the boiler stopped working.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Nightmare! That is a
nightmare.
know how this story plays out. Like, the moment it gets cold, the boiler stops working.
Yeah.
So we tried resetting it, didn't help. It's still got a red light flashing. The house is really cold. And Nick, you got
My
hint
friends
online.
had I sort of posted my woes in our sort of little chat that we have with my mates back from home, and someone linked me to a potential solution, which was basically a boiler company saying on Facebook, look, loads of people are complaining their boilers are broken. It's probably not broken. It's probably just this little fix.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, but I mean, as the long and short of it was, there's like a pipe going outside the house from the boiler that lets kind of like any condensation drain out.
Yeah.
And they reckoned it might be frozen.
Okay.
So we got thinking this is not going to work. This is never going to work. It never works. It never works in the real world.
This won't be our problem. This will be.
So we boiled the kettle, poured it kind of down the pipe, and you hear some kind of cracking, and we're like, did we imagine that? Is that real? And then we pour another kettle on, and like whack-a-mole, or like a Clippo ice cream, a massive tube of ice slides out the bottom.
And it sort of rests against the edge of the drain, so it stops. So we smash it off, and then another tube goes, and then we smash that off, and it just kept coming.
Really?
Just smashing these cylinders of ice
a
off.
meter long cylinder of ice kind of.
So that
thing.
was it.
Yeah, and then we turned it
reset
back
it.
on, and it's like
Happy
felt
days.
incredible.
We fixed. See, there you go. Fixing things, I suppose, is what I'm getting to.
Fixing things.
Fixing
Like a
that feeling when you
warrior
fix something.
Yeah.
And you
It
feel
is-
good about it.
It is a good feeling because we've all been in a position where we've tried something or someone's given us advice and we've tried it and that wasn't the problem that we were facing. It was just like, there's never any point in when someone tells you, it's probably this. It's never that. It's always something more serious. But in this case, it really wasn't. And you fixed your
Wonderful.
lot.
And I fixed the door.
Sweet.
Well, I hope you never end up stuck in your.
So do
toilet
I.
again.
It will happen again. I almost guarantee it.
I think now that it's happened twice,
it's going to happen a third time.
Yeah.
What do you feel like you're living on borrowed time? Like it's only a matter.
It's only a matter of time before I get stuck in another
It's
bathroom.
coming
Yeah.
for you, basically. Question: how did Daisy cope?
Well, I gave her 2 full toilet rolls, and she just played with them.
Yeah.
You sacrificed.
Didn't seem
yourself.
No, she was fine. She was just playing with them. I knew she'd be happy with those, but had they not been there, I would have been in trouble, I think.
She probably thought it was a hell of an adventure.
Yeah.
Like, a bit of time with you.
She just follows us to the bathroom, so it's fine. I don't bother kicking her out now. I can't be bothered. It's a waste of time that I could be spent peeing.
Some people feel self-conscious about urinating.
No, not really.
No.
My brother has 2 cats, and their home is in the only toilet in that house.
Yes.
And their little beds are on a little shelf that's behind the cistern.
Nice.
So when you're going for a piss, you're just 2 cats are just staring right into your eyes, just like, what are you doing? See a little wiener there?
It's like the cats aren't stupid. They must know that what you're doing is a direct challenge. It's like you're marking territory in front of them.
You sort of go in, and they're both just sat there, sort of curled up, and they're supposed to look at you. It's like, what's this then? Let's see. How
What's
this is
happening
gonna pan
here?
out. Oh, he's gonna go for a piss, is he? In
That's
our
the thing.
in our house.
I know, like you say, they're not people. It doesn't matter. But if a cat or a dog was watching me poo, I'd feel like I'd lost some standing in the animal kingdom.
I'd probably feel differently about a cat, because a cat always looks like it's judging you.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas a dog's like, what are you doing? What's going on? What's happening? Oh, look at that. That's great. Way!
I once did a poo in the presence of a cat, and it was great because the cat was looking at my face. And then I did a poo and it went splash into the water and it looked down. It's like, what was that?
Brilliant.
It's like, will you respect me? Will you still respect
I'm the breadwinner for you. Do you still respect me?
me? Wow.
There we go.
Well, that was delightful.
Yeah.
Bit of a segue there.
What's your love?
My love is a bit specific. It's a musical artist called Lewis Cole.
Oh.
Who I discovered through YouTube. He's a very, very talented, but also very silly man who plays sort of funk synthesizer.
Nice.
But one of the coolest things about what he does is because there's a lot of like electronic music out there, and it's all kind of like sequences. So you like plan all the notes in advance, and then you sort of just press spacebar and it plays by itself, or arpeggiated, which is where you sort of like play a chord, but the synthesizer plays the rhythm of that tune. So you're not actually playing this complicated riff, like kind of funky stuff. You're not actually playing that. A computer's kind of playing it, and you're just telling it the chords. He actually plays it. So he's got these incredibly mobile fingers, and he plays sort of 80s electronic funk type stuff, but that sounds like a Mega Drive, like Sonic Hedgehog level. And then he will sing very silly lyrics over the top, one of which is called I Don't Want to Check My Bank Account. He's afraid of seeing how little money he has. And not only is he amazing, and I totally recommend like anyone listening to just go on YouTube, type in Lewis Cole, which is spelled Louis, Cole spelled as you'd expect, and listen to some of his stuff. But he's playing a gig in Bristol in a couple of weeks, and Ali and I are going to go see him.
Oh wow!
So having literally just discovered him, Ali just went on a random like, oh, I wonder if he's playing, and he was, and he's American as well, so the likelihood of him playing here was incredibly low, and he just happened to be playing in a couple of weeks, and we got tickets.
Cracking.
So it's going to be great. So, as we were talking in the last episode about how love could potentially be a recommendation area, where you can tell potential listeners about stuff we've discovered, this was mine today.
So it's probably going to be like a kind of smaller, more intimate kind of gig.
Yeah, I think it's only like 100 or 200 people, which is kind
That'll
of cool.
Wow.
That's and
good.
he's got a band who are playing with him, so he's very much the sort of front man of it.
Yeah,
but he's going to have some chums. So yeah, I'll tell you how that was.
That's pretty badass. I mean, like when I dragged you all along,
Pictish Trail,
a
very obscure gig, like that was. Really enjoyed that, actually, going off the beaten track a little bit.
Yeah, love a music recommendation. Yeah,
because you've shown me I've forgotten his name already. Lewis Cole video. Does he favour torn off sleeves?
Yes, he's got this very again sort of 80s inspired dress sense, and he'll often wear like what look like shell suit trousers. Nice. And then like a shirt, but he'll rip off the sleeve so it's like stops at his shoulders. And one of his videos, he's wearing a McDonald's employee shirt, but he's ripped the sleeves off that. So it's like a black polo shirt with a yellow M on it and no sleeves. He looks the bomb.
Just speaking of fast food, very quickly. You know how KFC ran out of chicken?
I recall.
Have they not now also run out of gravy? That's not a joke. I'd heard there was now a gravy shortage.
How like they're not very good at this.
Yeah, it's like they're brand new. It's like they've never.
It's a bit of a PR disaster.
There's this new fast food joint, and it's called KFC, but it's not very good yet.
No, it's like no one has sold spiced chicken before in the UK. Yeah. Well, good for them anyway.
Did you see the ad that they put out to apologise? And it was
no,
very
I
clever.
haven't seen that.
So they reorganised the letters of KFC to make FCK.
Right.
And it was as if they just sort of like, fuck! And screwed it. And so it was like a picture of an empty chicken bucket with just fuck written on it. It was very funny.
That is good.
Fair play to them for
Someone's getting a promotion for that.
Well, whatever agency came up with that deserves a pat on the back and a kiss.
Oh my. Promote that man.
What's your love, John?
Well, my love, Nick, is also a kind of recommendation.
Look
at us. I treated myself yesterday to a video game.
Oh my!
A video game.
What have we started?
Because I haven't played anything in a while.
I don't think they're going to catch on video games.
No.
Not like the internet.
You can do a lot of things on computers these days.
They have the internet on computers now.
Play games. But no, this is a game called Super Hot, or to give it its proper title, Super Hot.
What format is this game on?
You can play it on the PC, but a VR version has been brought out for.
I think there's a PS4 version.
PS4, yeah. Anyway, the gimmick is that it is a first-person shooter. However, it's a very inventive one in that you are navigating a very simple environment just made of like white shapes.
Right.
So it's like an office.
Sure.
So there's no colour or
detail.
texture or anything like that. It's like here's a weird little block that looks a bit like a computer.
Gotcha.
And you're fighting an endless onslaught of red men
Right.
made of like, they look like they're made of like red crystal.
Okay.
So it's very striking. So everything's white.
Style.
And then you've got like these red stylized crystal men who come at you.
Right.
But objects are black. So there's only 3 colours in the whole game.
Okay.
So it's very easily colour coded.
Yeah.
And any weapon, so they have pistols, they have shotguns, they have machine guns, and they also have like samurai swords and baseball bats.
Oh.
So it's like a random assortment of what they're wielding. And occasionally there's like objects on the side. There might be like a spanner, or like in the lab there's like a microscope, or it's like a phone or a fire extinguisher. And the idea is that, and the big gimmick is that time only moves when you're moving.
Okay.
So
I'm with you.
If you stand perfectly still, time freezes. Or it doesn't entirely freeze.
It goes very
Stuff
slowly.
moves like a really,
Snail's
really
pace.
slow clip.
Okay.
So some levels open and it just goes, go. And suddenly there's like a gun in your head, pointing right at you. And
But it's not moving as such.
yeah, it's just kind of like frozen. And you're like,
what do I do?
What do I do? Because if I... and it's like, it fires, but it
Yeah,
happens
yeah.
really
Flare,
slowly.
yeah.
So this bullet's kind of like moving through the air. And you're like, oh God, what do I do? Like, because if I step forward...
It's going to shoot me.
Yeah, so you have to like step to the side.
Right.
And the bullet accelerates then.
Yeah, and there's a really, and probably like the most fun mechanic is like there's no ammo in the game. You can't reload. So like a pistol only has 4 shots.
Okay,
in it.
and you got
a
to ditch
shotgun
it.
only has 3. And it's got this great mechanic where you can throw your weapon.
Uh-huh.
And the thing I love doing the most is that if you're running at someone, you can chuck your gun through the air, hits them in the head. They fall backwards, and their gun goes flying out of the air. And of course,
you
you
can
can
catch it.
freeze time. You can catch it in midair.
It's so cool.
Nice.
And I was playing it yesterday, and you were in the room as well. And I said, "This is all right, but I think just like I'm going to play it in like short bursts. Like I played it for like half an hour, and I'm good. I'm going to come back."
3 hours later.
This morning I realised I had a problem because I got up and started playing it, and I finished the main campaign, and I've unlocked endless mode. So it's just an endless sea of men coming at you. And it's just like...
Tyler, your autobiography.
That's why title of the episode. And I was like, I was saying to Lucy, like, I have a problem. This is so much fun. I cannot stop. And
Please help me.
there's no
Send help.
And every time you die, you just tap a button, you're right back into it. And you just
that's good.
endlessly replayable. There's no kind of delay. And when you finish a level, if you're not playing endless mode, like if you make it through, and it's less like a shooter and more like kind of chess.
Right.
Because it's not like bang, bang, bang. You've got to like, oh, stop.
like
Okay,
See what you
this
do,
guy's
yeah.
coming.
Tactical.
Oh, and then I'll look over my shoulder, but turning my head makes time move a bit. So if I turn my head, oh God, there's a
there's
guy
a bullet here.
right behind
Okay.
me. Oh, and you also gave me the ability later on to swap bodies.
Sure. Why wouldn't you?
So you can kind of like, it's like a charge up. You can't do it time and time again. But you could be like, or you walk into a room and you're being like, oh no, bang, oh, catch the gun, throw that gun, pick up this object, catch it, and you're being really cool. And then like this guy steps
Really
around
cool.
and
Very, very cool.
and this guy kind of fires at you. You can see the bullets come towards you, and you're like, oh, there's no way I'm getting out of this. And like they're going to be on me in seconds. So then you can swap into that guy's body. So you jump, and then he's now in your body, and then the bullets kind of
Kill him.
destroy him.
Nice.
So are you one of the
really-
red crystal men as well?
Yes,
then?
basically,
Right,
yeah. So you're completely interchangeable, and it's just so much fun.
Cool.
And yeah, I would massively recommend
Sounds
it.
terrific. Nate, what's the name of it again? John?
Super hot.
Super hot. Very
And-
good. There you are.
And after you complete
Not a
a level,
sponsor.
so you do a level in slow motion, and then when you finish the level, it plays
see it,
the whole
okay.
thing, so you feel like an action hero.
Oh,
Haha.
wow.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
cool.
know that.
And then it is like you're like John Wick, basically. You're just kind of oh bang bang,
Impossibly reacting.
doing all this
Yeah.
incredible stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it's addictive. I'm thinking about it now. Basically, I want to go play it.
Cool.
Well, there you go.
Wonderful.
That's a recommendation.
That's another one. Should we do some listener
some loves?
loves? I've
Yeah.
got some here.
Rayman's got the love.
I've got the love.
The love letters.
Imogen again says, I absolutely love it when you give way to another driver. And rather than thanking you with the normal palm forward hand gesture, they give you a big fat thumbs up. I never spread this joy to anyone else, though. Wouldn't want to look stupid, and she's written stupid in capital letters.
Ha.
So that is emphatic.
So you're saying you love it when people give you the thumbs up, but you don't want to look stupid by
By
giving a thumbs up to
First.
someone else.
Yeah. My brother replies to this and says, I occasionally give a good solid thumbs up for the very reason that I think the other driver will be pleased with receiving a thumb rather than a palm. And then he sort of adds, basically, you need to give way to me.
Yeah.
So he's saying...
Constantly.
He's advertising his complimentary thumbs up situation.
Well, this is sort of spinning the head on one we discussed recently about road safety etiquette.
Indeed, which was very entertaining.
Thank you. And people not thanking you at all are bastards.
Yeah.
But I appreciate a good thumbs up.
Yeah.
As much as the next guy.
I think, like...
Whatever that means.
I don't
know. I've been way over my head. Help!
I think the thing, like, that worries me about it is, like, it's almost like we're all in this... Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Nick's giving me the thumbs up now. It's lovely. Oh, and another one. No.
I
turned it into a swear.
It's the idea that, like, I don't want to make too much eye contact. Maybe this is the British training in me coming through, where I'm like... No, it's like we're all just trapped in this misery that is driving. You know, and it's like I feel like if I give you a thumbs up, then suddenly now we're trapped in this contract where I'm like, oh no,
how much more do I have to do? Like, because I've engaged friendship mode now, so it's like, is there now there will be expectation. Whereas if I can remain an NPC in your life and just do a sort of like really easily forgettable gesture, then I won't feel the need. You won't feel the need to take this any further.
It's like, is there a greater terror than when you pull up to like a red light and you're waiting, and a car pulls up beside you,
you nod,
and you turn and all right, yep.
Then you don't know what to do.
What?
Oh no!
Can I just look away and pretend you don't exist anymore? Because you're not an NPC anymore.
No, but what do you do? Because I do kind of like, I look forward, like, oh hello, nod, look forward, and then just do not deviate.
Yeah.
You know, I cannot look back at them, because if you maintain eye contact, you're both going like, yep.
But you can't talk.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
nowhere else to go.
The most awkward exchange ever.
Yeah, so it's gonna be hard to kind of get across on a podcast, but you know, you'll point at the light and go, yeah, shrug.
Traffic lights, am I right?
Am I right? Yeah. Ugh.
Unbelievable.
It's kind of like the whole, like, when you see someone who isn't a close friend, is acquaintance, and you're walking past them in the street, and there's that moment of, is anyone going to stop? Because if either one of us stop, then we're going to be stuck in a very awkward exchange, because I've got nothing to say to you, and you should know that you have nothing to say to me either, so don't stop out of politeness. Let's just make this work. Like, hi, and carry on.
When you say goodbye to someone, and
then
you walk in the same direction, and it's like, oh no.
You're bringing back, I'm getting like these horrible kind of like repressed trauma flashes now of when I was at uni in the second year. Whenever we walked into uni in the morning, we had to cross this big car park, and every day without fail there was this one parking attendant, but he was always at the far end of the car park wearing a high-vis jacket. So as we round the corners, we have to walk in a dead straight line towards him. He can, he sees us coming
the whole way
for like 2 minutes, and you're just like, hey, you nod at him, it's like, and again.
Oh no!
Sir,
oh god! Oh no!
Sir, and you're getting closer. You're like, and then just when you're right next to him, you go, good morning, and then you kind of carry on.
Just the worst.
It's so painful. You've just been building to that moment because, of course, we saw him every day. You would just go, all right, yeah. But it's in that build-up where you're like, I can see him.
What do I do?
I know I'm within shouting distance, but I don't want to shout, hello! Hello, Dave! I know, it's bad.
We were talking about putting together a sort of genealogy of hates and how they all relate together, and I feel like we've just stumbled on a whole family there, which are like awkward exchanges.
Yes,
and some of them are glances, some of them are like where you actually speak to it. Sometimes it's that age-old thing of when you finish talking to someone and you just say the worst sign-off ever. Like, I remember when I was a lot older, and I met one of my high school teachers in town. And I was in my 20s, so, to all intents and purposes, I was now a functioning human being in society.
Right, yeah.
And so I was doing my very best to make this teacher aware of that. Like, look how great I'm doing, I'm a normal person. And then he was like, great to see you, Nick. And I was just like, thanks. And I was like, why did I say thanks? Like, oh god, just the worst. And that still haunts me today.
Did you call him sir?
I think I did as well.
Yeah, we used to do that.
You sort of feel like you have to, don't you, really?
I think, like, when we were in primary school, it was like you call them just Mr. or Miss. Like, you never said sir. You say, like...
No, it was secondary school.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Jones.
Yeah.
And then when we went to secondary school, it was always sir.
Yeah.
And what do you call the female teachers?
Miss,
there we go, yeah. And then I remember, like, when I've been in secondary school for a couple of years, having to stop by the old primary school for whatever reason. And as I was kind of waiting, I think
It's like, oh God, what did I call you?
yeah, and I saw like one of my old teachers like, "Hello, sir." He's like, "Oh,
Sir now,
nice.
yeah, I think
Oh,
I had
yeah.
that
Yeah.
once.
I
yeah.
think that's okay though, because I think that's a sort of like sort of leftover vestige of respect. It's like, you brought me up through my years of learning. I'm going to continue to refer to you as sir because you. It's kind of like being the president of the United States, and then when you retire, you're still the president. It's like that.
Yeah.
I think
Mr.
you've earned that.
Are they always Mr. President or like Sir or?
Yeah, I think
Mr. President.
They're
yeah.
always Mr. President.
People
so
still call Bill Clinton Mr. President.
if you weren't on
For
first name
example.
terms with
What
Bill,
if that was just his nickname?
Yeah.
like before he became president. Yeah, but no, it's a very good point. Whatever it was.
yeah, what was it?
Yeah, what was the point?
Oh, it was
Something to do with traffic.
Yeah.
thumbs up.
Simon Puggleton IV drip
let's say
says love grammar. Although I think the grammar should have a capital G. Reduplication. He's put love, grammar. I would say the grammar should have a capital G.
No, I reckon that's correct.
Love
That's still in the same sentence.
Reduplication in linguistics is when you repeat a word, sometimes with an altered consonant, brackets, lovey-dovey, fuddy-duddy, nitty-gritty, and sometimes with an altered vowel, bish-bash-bosh, ding-dang-dong. If there are 3 words, then the order has to go I-A-O. If there are 2 words, then the first is I, and the second is either A or O.
You know, I'd never thought
That's
about
There you go.
such an interesting point.
You see, yeah, that's kind of one of those things where everything you just said sounds terrifying, but when you think about it, I'm like, yeah, actually, that makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah, no, I enjoy that. I enjoy a good grammar.
Timey-wimey.
Timey-wimey.
So we've got Philip Gibbs.
Gibbo.
Gibbo.
The Gibbon.
He says, hello, I just listened to the episode and once again it was incredibly enjoyable. Oh, thanks, Phil.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Just
Yeah,
read out that
I had
compliment.
to read that bit out. I have not had a good week. Oh, Phil.
Oh,
Sorry, Phil.
Oh, sorry,
Gibbo.
We're here for you, Phil.
And to relax, sometimes I try to compose some music. Wow.
Very
That's-
good.
that's
Very.
cool. So far the music hasn't gone too well, but there is one aspect that irritates me particularly. Oh, this is a hate. I thought this was a love.
Oh, I thought this was a
I
love.
thought it was a hate.
Let's say
Oh,
it's a love that's turned into a hate.
Oh, you
and
all
vice
laughed.
versa.
Format.
You all laughed, didn't you?
Anyway.
We'll read it anyway.
This might be the most obscure hate so far on the show. The standard Sibelius baritone sax sound.
I'm glad you're taking this one.
So, his hate is the standard Sibelius baritone sax sound.
I hate that. I do hate that.
As a clarinetist / saxophonist, I like to compose for instruments I know well, which is rather difficult whenever I listen back to whatever I've just written and I hear the musical equivalent of hammers hitting a wall attacking my ears.
Oh.
Well, Phil, I think I speak for everyone when I say we've all been.
We've all been there.
My only knowledge of Sibelius is that it is a music writing software, and I believe my brother had to use it when he did his A-level music.
I remember messing around with it at school because my friend was doing A-level music, which I wasn't doing, but he had to write and make stuff in Sibelius, and sometimes I'd sit with him in the music IT room, because we had a music IT room.
Oh.
Rarefied air.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would try and compose like crappy versions of like Papa Roach songs in Sibelius.
Classic.
They sounded very bad.
I feel I'm discovering a whole new side of you now. This is amazing.
I wish I'd saved them so I could play them to you.
My greatest achievement in music is being discouraged from taking up the clarinet.
Really?
Yeah, they told me not to at school.
Oh,
Please
wow.
don't.
They just went, no, don't. I was like, all right then.
That's awful.
My memory of music at secondary school it was pretty awful, if I recall. I think it was just like they're stuck with the issues. How do you engage like 30, 14-year-olds who just will not care? So we had to do really kind of inane.
I always saw
stuff,
music
yeah.
as a DOS lesson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. It really was.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because it should be.
I mean, I love it now.
Yeah.
You know, like messing around and composing the odd thing. But like back then, it was just let's just fuck it.
I remember like in year 7, so as I was starting secondary school, the first music challenge we ever had to do was you had to take a Christmas carol
Right.
and rewrite the tune.
Whoa. Okay.
So it was like you keep the lyrics and everything. Oh god, they were bad though. It was just like, I think we did the Holly and the Ivy, which is just like a really bad carol. Anyway,
Where would you go with that? Yeah.
But
It is
we-
a bad carol actually. It's really like harsh.
And they are all full grown. Something, and then we'll do a moan.
yeah.
Yes.
And it's just like, oh, it's miserable. And of course, like they would say things. The teachers would go like, so think about like if the song goes up, why not try going down instead. And as they just meant it like a throwaway suggestion, but of course
everyone just did that.
because you have no imagination at that age.
No.
You have no idea what to do.
But also, the teacher was giving you a frame of reference for success in this task, which is do what she just said.
Yeah.
So I will then, because that's the only way I'm going to get an A.
So everyone's just like, the Harley. And
Oh yeah, I
Ivy.
do remember that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ivy. Oh, don't be
Yeah, and it's just like, it's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, now it's all flooding back to me now. You just said
I
that.
seem to remember we had to record them on like cassette tape as well. If
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
God, those were the days, eh? The John Locke story.
Those were the days.
Those
eh?
were the days, yeah.
I've one here from Ned Newbury.
Ned, come on down.
Neddy, who says, "Love that you guys are going on a toy run.
Oh.
Me
Oh,
too."
Ned.
And
How long are
echo
we gonna
Chris's
keep
love
talking
of
about?
Black Series Lando from Solo. Yes, it does look very good.
When did you mention that?
In a couple of episodes ago.
Wow, I was
Perhaps.
not listening.
Do you have any thoughts now you'd like to share on?
The Black Series landing.
On that, it does look cool. Yeah,
I had a look.
I agree.
When I saw Ned post this comment, I then went and looked it up because I did not know what he was talking about, and it looks really good.
It does.
The whole
But I think the movie Solo will be an absolute clusterfuck.
I'm gonna go see it.
I will go see it, but I think it will be a car crash.
I feel I'd like to say that I'm not going to see it, but I think I probably will see it.
I don't feel like this is one that we shouldn't go because it's going to offend us.
I don't care. I just don't care about it. It will be a movie, and I'm sure bits of it will be fun. And they're not overhyping it, this
No.
movie, which I think is probably sensible.
I think that's kind of where I am though, because I just do not. I don't care, and I don't want to take away from people who do, but I really just don't care massively about it. But at the same time, I doubt it will be terrible.
That's
So-
how I see. I don't not care.
You don't not yes.
I don't have any strong feelings about it. I kind of want to go see it. I'm more curious than not caring.
If it was still Lord and Miller,
That'd be there
I
in a
would be
half.
very much on board because they're
I'll be there at the premiere.
amazing writers and directors. But it's kind of fascinating when you hear like they've reshot so much of this movie,
About 90%, apparently.
which is like unheard of.
Well, they've replaced one of the characters with a different actor.
Really?
There was a guy, I can't remember the guy's name who was originally the character, but Paul Bettany took it over.
Whoa.
It was a black actor, and Paul Bettany took it over the role.
Why?
Because the guy couldn't do the reshoots, I think.
It just
The
wasn't
original
available.
guy.
He's just
yeah.
not in it now.
So he's just not in the movie.
That really sucks.
And his character's now been recast.
Like, imagine being so excited to be cast in a big Star Wars movie, and then for nothing that is your fault, they do reshoots, and now you're not in it.
Yeah.
And yet you've done all the work. I mean, I'm sure they paid him.
Oh,
but
I'm sure he's well
for an
paid.
actor like that, you'd be excited about being in the film and seeing
Yeah.
yourself on the screen, and he won't even be there.
I wonder if that footage will ever get used.
No
Will
chance.
ever
It'll be
see
locked
the
in a
light
safe
of-
under
Disney
Skywalker
box.
Ranch, probably.
Will it be locked in the George Lucas salt mines, which is
Yeah.
where he keeps a lot of his...
Where he keeps the
I
original
thought you were
trilogy.
joking. What?
No,
He has some salt mines.
yeah, because it's so dry in there. It's really good for storing film stock.
That is.
That is a true story.
Yeah, yeah,
insanity. So we
Probably
bought
the
a salt
original
mine just for
trilogy's
that
in there,
reason.
because that's never going to be released as it was.
Oh, George.
George.
So there you go.
Well,
Apparently,
I
George
prob-
Lucas came on set and directed a scene of Solo.
Yes, that is. I heard that.
in the original cut or the new?
I think the
cut?
new one, because he's friends with Ron Howard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Ron Howard did a film called Willow for Lucasfilm back in the 80s.
Yes.
So, if you recall, Warwick Davis was the star of it.
For factoid.
Yeah.
Anyone
One
else?
last one from Andrew Stevens.
Come on, Andrew.
Andrew.
Steve-O.
Take us home, Andrew.
One thing I secretly love and find hilarious is the things people say to stop themselves swearing, whether it be in front of a tiny child or when it's not appropriate. I have someone at work almost say fucker at work the other day, and instead she ended up saying get me not. That is good. It was pretty funny and oddly satisfying. That is good.
I love. Sorry, that's never not funny.
Yeah. Forget me not.
You
Forget me
You
not.
could have, even just when you said fucker, you could have just left the story there. Like,
Yeah.
You know, that's just amusing.
I'm like
adopted,
that, yeah, because I have two young nieces, so I'm quite a swearer when I need to be.
No.
But yeah, it's fine.
So I find myself saying other words just because I suddenly realise what I'm about to say.
I once worked in a Starbucks in Calgary,
Oh.
in Canada, and it was a relatively quiet afternoon, which was a blessing because it was normally like super busy. And we only had one customer at the counter, and my manager was serving them. And in the background, I'm just kind of moving bottles and doing some cleaning up and stuff. And I remember I opened a cupboard, bent down into the sink, and then stood up and
Smashed your head.
smashed my head into the open cupboard door. like really hard, like powerfully hard. And it just shot out of my mouth, shit biscuits. And I have no idea. It's not even a thing I say on a daily basis. I just went, shit biscuits. I just kind of like collapsed on the floor. And nobody kind of batted an eyelid. It didn't help me either.
No,
They
yeah.
kind of looked at me.
Everybody just looked at you and went, prick.
I'd have been too busy laughing.
The thing is, our landlady / friend who we were staying with was a nurse, and she reckoned I did actually have mild concussion because I was so sleepy afterwards. I just wanted to lie down.
It is a good one, that one.
That is a good one.
fantastic.
I'm trying to think of an example now. I think it's probably similar when you bash your toe or bash your head or something.
I think
And there's someone around.
I think it's a sign of how comfortable you are in your workplace with your colleagues and how well you know the lay of the land as to where you stand on swearing. Because it's like, for the first couple of years of my job, it was like a choir boy, like never kind of swore at all.
Now you're
And
like,
then-
fuck piss!
yeah, and it's just a lot of like, Jesus Christ, which I think just kind of like sums up the general kind of demeanour of our team. We're just like, fuck's sake, just kind of like muttering under our breath. Anyway,
Wonderful.
Great stuff.
well, what do we think? Love or hate? I personally reckon love.
Really?
Yeah, no, the loves.
I was gonna angle for hate this time, actually.
I'll go hate because
Oh.
that's my natural avenue.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've known you longer.
But I appreciate that love. Yeah, I appreciate that love. Was fine.
Our loves were dominated by recommendations.
They were
which,
adequate.
although, hopefully, our fans will listen and enjoy those recommendations. I think pure hot-blooded hatred still prevailed.
Yes.
I feel, well, I did enjoy talking about our hates, but I feel we laughed more talking about our loves.
Well, that may always be the case because it's a happier time. But we've got to be rational.
we have to stick to
we
the rigid,
we can't let emotions get in the way.
Yeah,
here, John.
exactly, John.
the rigid airtight format of this show demands.
Despite the fact we did a hate right at the end.
Okay, we know what hate it is then.
Way,
Oh,
way.
we are happy,
You
definitely.
bastards.
Although
Come
no
on.
emotion, no emotion.
I love that you've chosen hate.
Yes.
Well, we should do our airtight, rigid sign off.
Oh, yeah,
I'll do the backing.
Hey.
Time
Time to dance.
You've been listening to the
Hate.
the smooth
Hate,
time
hate,
hour
hate, hate.
with your
Hate.
boys. I'm
Hate,
John.
Hate, hate, hate,
Nick and
hate,
Chris have been my
hate,
co-hosts
hate,
today.
hate,
Thank you
hate,
so much
yeah,
for listening,
yeah.
everyone. It's been kind of
Over
wonderful.
there. Who else is gonna hate?
We'll see you next week.